Welcome back to the Indianapolis franchise here on MLB the Show 23. In last episode, the Arrows got their first win of the series, defeating the Twins at home for the first time. And now we look to our minor league rosters and our scouting for the first time this series. We start today's episode at the AAA level, and we will just look at AAA and our scouting department headed into the draft in season 1. I gotta be honest, our farm system is the worst in baseball. It is definitely the worst in baseball, and our AAA roster is our worst minor league team. We have a couple of noteworthy guys, but I mean couple. I really literally mean two. The first is 28-year-old Pat Washington. The reason why he is kind of a good prospect of ours because he has the probably highest probability of making the MLB team right away here in season 1. He has a pretty good arm. He has pretty good base running instincts and good speed, and he's an all-around hitter. So let's just check him out at the AAA level here, facing the Iowa Cubs. And early on in the season, the AAA season starts early in MLB the Show 23, which is pretty on par with real life. So we get to see them right away here in the month of April. Here's Pat Washington's first at-bat of the game. He smokes one down the third baseline. That one is snagged, though. And one thing I love about Pat Washington is he can play all three outfield positions. Having the arm that he has, having the range of skills that he has, he can play everywhere in the outfield. Doesn't have to be center, doesn't have to be right. He has the arm for right field too. And for some reason, if we have great arms out there, he has to play left field, he can do that too. But in this game, he goes 0 for 2 in his first 2 at-bats. That one he goes down looking. And now we move on to the 6th inning. The Iowa Cubs are up 6-0. As you can see, our AAA team struggles to put runs across the plate, but he goes up the box with that one. Perfect timing on that swing. Good timing, I should say, on the cut fastball as he hits right in the middle of our lineup at number 3. 1 for 3 day now, facing a lefty this time, and this one will just be a fly out to center field. Washington's going to be a guy to keep your eye on throughout this season. At some point, he could get moved up. The next prospect, I really had to dig for this, and I honestly didn't have anybody else to list as a top prospect at the AAA level. I literally had to record future episodes and then see who really stands out. And I settled on Markeith Parsons, a guy that has progressed actually really well. You can just see right here, he plays every single position, and he is a utility guy in the future. Only 59 overall, though, so he's still like 3-4 years away. But with our organization, that could be more like 2 years away. Who knows? But a first tough task here as we show the highlights for him. He faces Chris Paddock, who is an MLB level pitcher. And right away, Paddock goes right at him as Markeith hits in that 2 spot. And 3 straight pitches, strike 3. Paddock showing that he has that MLB level arm talent. As here's Parsons facing him for the second at-bat. This one's just a fly out to right field. Parsons goes 0 for 2 in this one. But it is still 0-0 into the 6th inning. Man on second base now, facing Paddock for the 3rd time today. Works it to a full count, but this time he draws a walk. Markeith Parsons is going to be a guy that I really like because he has the all-around skills, much like Pat Washington, but at 22 years old. Emilio Pagan comes into the game in the 8th inning, and here is Parsons coming through with a deep shot to the gap. 87 speed coming around, and he ties this ball game up, showing a little bit of a clutch gene right there. Markeith Parsons is a guy to keep your eye on in the coming years. Obviously not in year 1, probably not in year 2, but you look at year 3, he could really, make his stamp and maybe compete for some type of utility role, or maybe even just, a guy that can platoon. Who knows? Now on to the 11th. Since he tied the ball game up there in the 8th inning, well, this one goes on to extras, but he had an opportunity here to drive in another run. It's just a ground ball out to third. And the Storm Chasers do end up losing this game 3-2 in extras, but he did face some MLB level talent here with Chris Paddock and Aaron Sanchez, and he kind of held his own a little bit. So now for the first time here in this series, we will look at our scouting. And one thing I wanted to do here in year one is I didn't want to touch anything. I didn't want to hire new scouts. I kind of wanted to, roll with what the game gave us, and that's what we will do. So here are our 3 scouts here in season 1. We have Merrill Montenegro, who is a very efficient scout, and he's also really good at scouting pitchers at 82. Chad Lopez is our number 2 scout. He is kind of our worst scout out of the 3. And then David Rodriguez, 98 efficiency, 92 discovery, 89 position players, and 72 pitchers. He can scout everybody, and that's one thing I like about him. So we will have flexibility with Montenegro and Lopez more than anybody. But let's just look at this draft class right away. The top prospect and projected number 1 rank is going to be Johnny Ewing. He is 80 to 99 potential. It looks like he has very good contact, really good defense in the future, and he also has plus speed at 97 is his max potential there. Number 2 is Rolando Ballinger, who is a catcher, and he is a number 2 ranked prospect. It looks like a defensive catcher to me. Andrew Bolger at number 3, a closing pitcher. They said this year closing pitchers wouldn't go early in the draft. I guess we'll have to see about that, but he is ranked number 3. Manny Valdez is number 4. He is a 20-year-old, 2-year JUCO prospect. I really like his ratings right now, but obviously we don't have him scouted. Ryan Hester, 19 years old, 1-year JUCO, and he might be one of the guys I start scouting first since he's only 19 years old. I want to try to get some young prospects I can develop. I don't have many in the organization. Another 19-year-old I see at number 11, Benjamin Pedroza, who is an intriguing prospect, excellent contact, and obviously the potential does range from 73 to 97. He also has really good speed, good reaction, good arm strength, so he's kind of an all-around prospect that I might check out. Pablo Geronimo is another noteworthy guy at 13. Now, we have a middle of the first round pick at number 8, I believe, and we decide to, go with these 3 first slots here with our scouts here. Steven Trainer is a guy that I like here at the end of the first round. I want to see, if I can find a guy that was projected to go late in the first and then he ends up moving up. So he will be on the board as well. And then I decided to go after Ryan Hester since he's a top 5 player and 19 years old. I already talked about that. Maybe he falls all the way down to 8. He is projected at 5 right now as an MLB rank. But I like what I see from this first crop of guys. So just a quick break in scouting. We want to check out our MLB team and Michael Pineda on the mound, the veteran. I want to see what he can do. He is up 7-0 right now. How about the Arrows early on this season? But he gives up a hit here in the top of the 9th inning. But look at Whit Merrifield. I don't know what he saw on that, but that was just a silly play right there. D. Gordon throws him out easily. 1 out here in the 9th inning. Looking for the shutout. Here's an inside pitch to Kevin Kiermaier. This one's a fly ball to center field. D. Gordon gets both putouts here in the top of the 9th. As Pineda could go a complete game in his first start here with the Arrows. Bo Bichette at the plate, and it's a strike 3. He got him looking, and it's a 7-0 win, and the Arrows start out 3-1 on the season. He actually struck Bo Bichette out with 3 straight fastballs right there, and a really, really good win here for the Arrows. A pretty surprising start here. We get through the second week of the season and we go up and down, win some games, lose some games. But I really wanted to focus on scouting in this episode. So we do get some feedback for Ryan Hester. He doesn't even budge. It looks like our scouts still have him at number 5, which is a good sign. I don't want to see any busts here. His player interest in signing is 50%, and his bonus demand looks like $6 million, which is a whole lot. That's way more than half of our bonus allotment of $10.74 million. Steven Trainer ends up being the 38th ranked guy on our board now. He goes down quite a bit. Being 18 years old, if he slips in the draft, though, we could be looking at him because we do have 2 second-round picks, both around 43 and 74. And then Benjamin Pedroza ends up being added to the board after that. So we want to scout him next, see what he's working with also, since he's a young prospect as well. Quick break in the scouting. We go back to the MLB level, now facing the Texas Rangers. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Archie Bradley, who has assumed that closer role. I kind of like him over Ken Giles, and we had a 5-run 8th inning to set up this 9th inning. Now facing Robbie Grossman, who lays down a bunt. Oh, that one was almost caught, and that's a throw on the second and on the first. Almost a double play. And that one would have been an excellent play right there. Getting the lead runner, though, was smart. As Nathaniel Lowe comes to the plate, 3 for 4 today, a triple and 2 singles, inside slider. It's actually a knuckle curve, and that one will be a little flare out to short for the second out of the inning. Marcus Semien to the plate. He's going down, looking in the arrows, get another close victory. 6-5 versus Texas. You got to love what you see from these arrows right away. We're winning these close games. We also had a shutout today. And Astudillo almost turned that double play. He goes 2 for 4 in this game with the home run and 3 RBIs, and we get the win. A nice comeback there in the 8th. So back to scouting here. We are in week 3, and we find out some more information about Benjamin Pedroza. He ends up dropping all the way to 70. So after using Rodriguez to scout him, who is our most efficient scout, he goes all the way down to 70 from 11. I'm very disappointed at that, but at least we kind of dodge a bullet there. I don't think he would fall too far. Ryan Hester, we end up keeping him on the board. He ends up going up to number 2. So if Hester drops, this could be an excellent selection here. He goes from 5 to 2, and he's 19 years old. This could be an excellent player, and I will probably continue to kind of scout him because they say if you keep him on the board, his interest will go up and his scouting or his bonus demand could go down. So I might add him back in later, but at least we know some good information on him. Johnny Vaccaro is the actually 36th ranked MLB prospect, but we have him ranked at number 15. So I decided to add him to the board to really figure out if he will keep rising. Montenegro will be assigned to him. Another guy, Julian Ortiz, I want another position player here. We actually have him ranked 2 below what the MLB ranked has, 34 compared to 32. He looks like an all-around prospect, and look at that future power potential. I mean, it's at like 99, so we'll have to see if that holds up. And then I wanted to scout a guy that, you know, could be another riser here. We have him ranked at 12, Gabriel Fernandez. He is MLB ranked 35. And he is a JUCO second-year player. So we sim a little bit more in April, and it looks like, you know, Indianapolis is now starting to kind of be what they are. We kind of go on a losing streak, and we knew this would kind of happen here. We do get some updates on Johnny Vaccaro as we enter week 4. He moves up to number 12, and we have him 77% scouted, but Julian Ortiz moves down to 50. So he kind of is a guy that, you know, we thought would be better. Obviously didn't end up being that way, but Ortiz is a guy, if he does slip down the draft, at least we know what we have him ranked. I will remove him from the board and look to scout some other guys here. And what I really want to look for is another position player, because I see the pitchers are at the top of the board. We need every single position. It doesn't even matter. We're not targeting a certain position. We need everything. So I want to get a position player who I know can hit and a guy that has a high potential. I think that's kind of what we need in our organization right now. We just do not have that. So I look at a couple of guys. Fernando Franco is an interesting guy here. He's ranked in the middle of the top 100 at 45. We have the 43rd pick, so I kind of want to get somebody that could be around that range that could rise, and Coleman Valentine is a guy that I have settled on. He has excellent potential with his defense, and he's 18 years old. So if we can get him to kind of, discover him and he ends up being a riser, that could be really, really good. We advance on here to our 5th week in scouting, and you can just see the Arrows go on a 11 game losing streak before winning the last game of the month versus the Twins 10-4. And that's just how it goes right now in this rebuild. We are just going to go on streaks like this. We've had pretty much 2 losing streaks. We had a 3-game, actually we had a 5-game, no, 2 3-game losing streaks and an 11-game losing streak. We do break that streak though, but at the end of the month, this is what the opening month looks like. We're 9-19. The Guardians are 20-7 in the AL Central. They are running away with it, and the Wranglers are 12-15. Eric Hosmer, to nobody's surprise, is one of our top hitters on the team. He is obviously a veteran and one of, the great players in the last decade in the MLB. And then D. Gordon actually is second on the team in average, and Raimel Tapia is third. I don't think that's like really any surprise there. Those guys were kind of coming in as our best hitters. But behind them, we have a little bit of a disappointment here with Francisco Mejia. I think there's a lot of season left, hitting 238 though, but I really expected him to maybe hit 250 or more. We'll have to see. He's still developing and is still in his 20s. We obviously knew what we were signing up for with a lot of these older guys, and I think the rebuild is really kicking in here for some of these veterans. Adam Frazier only hitting 204. Mike Moustakas, who is right now everyday player, he's hitting only 202. Victor Reyes, who comes off of the bench, only hitting 167. But probably the biggest concern right here is Nicky Lopez. He's hitting 160. This is a guy that pretty much was my number 3 pick, and it looks like he is not living up to his potential at all. So at least after the first month of the season, we knew we weren't going to compete, but we know who we should probably add to the trade block to possibly get some prospects for. Adam Frazier is one. He is going to be a free agent next season. This just makes too much sense. He was our captain coming into this year, but this is a rebuild. We obviously know what we signed up for. And then also, I thought about Nicky Lopez, but I'm going to keep him around. He is struggling, but it's only been a month into the season. Obviously, I think his year is safe here with the Arrows in year 1. Jackie Bradley's interesting. He could be a defensive guy for a contender. Who knows? But then I have Victor Reyes coming off of the bench. I think he is going to be added to the trade block. At 62 overall, I don't know how much value he really has, but we'll have to see. Estudillo could get added just to be another veteran, and he is 67 overall as well. He could have some value. So finally, in week 5 in scouting, Johnny Vaccaro actually goes all the way down to 47. Now, he was all the way up at 12. I don't know what happened going from week 4 to 5, but we had him at 70% scouting. He goes from 12 all the way down to 47. That is a big surprise. I was actually pretty happy about the scouting progress with him, but I guess we're going to have to consider him as a faller. Gabriel Fernandez is going to be ranked at 56, but Coleman Valentin looks like a good value in the second round. He is 18 years old, a third baseman. It looks like his contact versus right is going to be very, very good. I'm going to continue to scout him to see how well he does, but one thing I wanted to highlight with him is that he is another lefty. We keep getting all these lefties, and that's just kind of how it went. So with our final week here in scouting going into the month of May, I decide to just add some more discovery here. We just need to discover more prospects. I don't see enough not ranked prospects that we can go after yet. So we're going to start to kind of add to that and start to scout individual players more. And I will start to scout by position a little bit more just so that we can uncover, a lot more about multiple prospects. And that's kind of how you should do it. Probably in the middle weeks, and just do about 2 or 3 weeks of scouting a position to figure out, multiple guys at a time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this scouting here, and let me know if you guys think I should go after a certain player that you saw. And the Arrows will be back next episode in our first rivalry game with the Wranglers. Hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.